She texted me at 11:18 a.m. I'm in the hospital. I couldn't handle it anymore. My hands went cold. I dropped my coffee, grabbed my keys, and bolted out of the office before my brain even caught up. But when I got there, her name wasn't on any patient list. That's when I opened the location tracker on my phone. And what I saw? It changed everything. Before we get into it, don't forget to subscribe, hit like, and drop a comment if you've ever trusted someone who made you question your sanity. My name's Mark, I'm 42, and I've worked in finance for almost 2 decades. I thought I'd seen manipulation before, on Wall Street, in boardrooms, but never like this. My girlfriend, Rachel, and I had been together almost 3 years. She was charming, warm, the kind of woman who could make a room stop talking when she smiled. The first year was perfect. Weekend getaways, dinners at new restaurants, lazy Sunday mornings. But over time, the sweetness started to feel like syrup, heavy, sticky, impossible to wash off. It started small. If I didn't text back within an hour, she'd send, "Everything okay?" Harmless. Then, "Are you mad at me?" Then, "If you don't want me anymore, just say it." I told myself it was just her anxiety, that she needed reassurance. I thought love meant being patient. But the patience turned into walking on glass. Last Tuesday started like any other. Early client meetings, spreadsheets, back-to-back calls. I told Rachel the night before I'd be busy till noon. She smiled, said she understood, even kissed me goodnight like everything was fine. But by 10 a.m., my phone was lighting up every few minutes. 10 texts, then 20. By 11, it was vibrating nonstop. I finally checked during a break. 53 unread messages. The first few were normal. "Hope your morning's going great, babe." Then they got sharper. "Are you ignoring me?" What did I do? Say something. I took a deep breath, typed fast, still in meetings. "I'll call you soon. Love you." I hit send and shoved my phone back in my pocket. That should have been enough. But at 11:18, she sent the message that made my blood freeze. "I'm in the hospital. I took something I shouldn't have. I'm sorry. I didn't even grab my laptop." I sprinted out of the building, nearly got hit crossing Main Street, and drove faster than I ever have in my life. My heart was punching against my ribs the whole way there. I imagined her pale on a hospital bed, monitors beeping. The woman I loved dying because I didn't text fast enough. When I reached the ER, I stumbled to the desk, breathless. "Rachel Miller." She texted me. She said she was brought here, The nurse looked me up and down, then started typing. After a moment, she frowned. "No one by that name's been admitted today, sir." I blinked. "Can you check again?" She did. Twice. Nothing. My chest tightened. My mind tried to reason. Maybe she was under a different name. Maybe she went to another hospital. But something in my gut whispered that this didn't add up. I stepped aside, pulled out my phone, and opened the location app we'd both agreed to share months ago. "For safety," she'd said. Her dot appeared instantly. Not at any hospital. It was moving slowly, toward a place called the Garden Retreat Spa, an upscale resort 30 minutes away. I stood there, surrounded by people coughing and crying, staring at that little blue dot sliding across the map. My hand stopped shaking. A strange, calm clarity took over. I got back into my car. I didn't floor it this time. I drove slow, steady, deliberate, because I already knew deep down that whatever I found at that spa, I couldn't come back from it the same man. When I pulled into the resort parking lot, the sun was cutting sharp reflections off the pool's glass walls. I could see inside, the turquoise water, people lounging, laughing. And then I saw her, Rachel, in a white swimsuit, drink in hand, laughing with some guy I'd never seen before. That's when I stopped breathing. I sat in my car staring through the glass, every muscle in my body locked tight. Rachel was leaning back on a pool chair, her head tilted toward the guy next to her. He had that polished gym body look, a deep tan that screamed more money than work. His hand rested on her leg like he'd done it 100 times before. They were laughing, and the sound, even muffled through glass and distance, felt like a knife dragging slowly through my chest. I couldn't process it. 20 minutes ago, I thought she was dying. Now she was sipping cocktails with another man at a spa I couldn't afford without checking my savings first. I sat there for a full minute, maybe more, my brain completely silent. Then something strange happened. The panic, the heartbreak, all of it drained out of me. What replaced it wasn't anger. It was a cold, sharp kind of focus. I opened my phone, zoomed in on the map, confirming the location. The little blue dot was exactly where I was looking. This wasn't a coincidence. This was deliberate. I stepped out of the car and walked inside. The air smelled like eucalyptus and expensive lies. The front desk clerk looked up, smiling the kind of customer service smile that could survive a nuclear blast. "Welcome to the garden retreat. Do you have a reservation?" "Not exactly," I said. I kept my voice calm. "My girlfriend's out by the pool. I'd like to surprise her. Can I get a day pass?" She glanced at her computer. "What's her name, sir?" "Rachel Miller." The woman typed a few seconds, then looked up. "She's checked in as a guest of one of our members, Mr. Carson. I need to confirm with them before granting a pass." I forced a small smile. "No problem. I'll text her instead." I turned and walked back toward the exit, my heart still steady, my mind a storm. Through the window, I watched Rachel pick up her phone as it lit up on the table beside her. I texted, "Hey, I just got out of my meetings. Which hospital are you at? I'm freaking out here." She looked at the screen, rolled her eyes, and turned the phone face down. Then she leaned over and kissed the man. I felt something inside me snap, not in rage, but in clarity. I pulled out my own phone and hit record, zooming in through the window. 15 seconds of her laughing, touching him, kissing him again. Proof. I walked calmly back to my car and sat behind the wheel, hands steady as stone. I could have gone in there and made a scene. Could have yelled, demanded answers, thrown her betrayal into the sunlight for everyone to see. But I didn't want noise. I wanted precision. Evidence. I drove home instead. I sent her a message when I got there. "Rachel, please answer me. I'm really scared." I waited. At 4:10 p.m., she finally replied, "I'm okay. They gave me something to flush it out. I'm so embarrassed. Can you pick me up?" I texted back, "Of course." "Which hospital?" "St. Luke's," she wrote. St. Luke's was on the opposite side of town from the spa. I told her I'd be there in 20 minutes and drove straight to the hospital parking lot. I parked, waited, texted, "I'm here. Where are you?" 10 minutes passed. She said she was in a room but didn't know the number. 15 minutes later, she claimed visitors weren't allowed. "Can you just wait at home?" she wrote. "I'll get a ride when they release me." I typed, "Sure. I love you. Just be safe." Then I drove home again, calm as ever. Inside, I opened my laptop and logged into our shared phone account. I paid for both lines, hers and mine, so I had full access to call logs and messages. I didn't even hesitate. The screen filled with numbers, and one stood out immediately. Hundreds of messages and calls to a number I didn't recognize. I ran it through a lookup service. The name came back, David Carson. My jaw tightened. The same last name the spa clerk had mentioned. I clicked deeper, found his public profile. A fitness entrepreneur, local charity donor, the kind of guy who wears designer sneakers and quotes motivational posters. Photos of him and Rachel started popping up everywhere, her tagged in the background of events, comments between them buried under layers of filters and emojis. For months' worth of breadcrumbs. My pulse didn't rise. I wasn't shaking. I was cataloging, learning. I scrolled through every photo, every caption. There was one from 2 months ago, Rachel in a black dress I'd never seen before, standing beside him at a fundraising gala, his arm around her waist. Caption, "An unforgettable night with incredible company." I saved everything. Every screenshot, every timestamp. The next step wasn't confrontation. It was strategy. When she came home that night, I'd be ready. I heard the door unlock around 7:30. She walked in like nothing had happened, dressed neatly, makeup perfect, hair brushed, wearing the same clothes she'd left in that morning. No signs of distress. No hospital bands. No weakness. She smiled, her eyes glossy like she'd been rehearsing sadness in the mirror. "Mark," she whispered, rushing toward me. "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. I just felt so lost. I wasn't thinking clearly." I nodded slowly, keeping my voice low. "Which room were you in?" She blinked. "What?" "At St. Luke's," I said. "Which room?" "I don't remember. They moved me a few times." Her tone faltered, but she kept going. "They had to, cleanse me. I'm still a little out of it." I tilted my head. "Cleanse you? What's that procedure called again?" She hesitated, her eyes darting for half a second. "It's called lavage, I think." I smiled. "Sounds right. Must have been scary." She nodded quickly, tears sliding down her cheeks. "It was terrible. I don't know what came over me." "How was the spa?" I asked quietly. Her tears stopped. She froze. "What?" The garden retreat, I said, holding her gaze. Water warm enough. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. I reached into my pocket, pulled out my phone, and tapped play. The video lit up the room. Her, laughing, kissing David, sunlight glinting off the pool water. Her face went white. "Who's David?" I asked. She started stammering, eyes wide, voice cracking. "He's just a friend. I can explain." I didn't raise my voice. I didn't move. I just watched her crumble under her own lies. Rachel froze like a deer in headlights, her mouth opening and closing without sound. Then the tears came, fast and loud, as if she could drown the truth under noise. "I just wanted you to notice me," she shouted, voice shaking. "You're always working, always too busy, always somewhere else." I felt invisible, Mark. I stood there, calm, my hands at my sides. "So you pretended to overdose while you were drinking by a pool with another man?" Her eyes flashed anger through the tears. "It's not like that. David's just a friend. He's been helping me with my anxiety." I laughed once, dry and bitter. "Helping you? Interesting choice of therapy, considering how close you two looked." She stepped closer, reaching for my hands, her voice suddenly soft. "Please, I made a mistake. Yes, I spent time with him, but it wasn't serious. You and we're real. You're the one I love." I took a small step back. I checked the phone logs, Rachel. For months of calls, thousands of texts. That gala photo. How long were you planning to keep lying? Her face twisted between rage and panic. "You had no right to spy on me. You violated my privacy." I almost laughed again. "Privacy? You told me you were dying. You made me race across the city thinking you were lying in a hospital bed." Her expression hardened, a flash of something cruel behind her tears. "I just wanted you to feel what I feel when you ignore me. I wanted you to understand. You wanted control," I said quietly. "You wanted to see how far I'd go. You wanted proof that I'd drop everything for you. And now you have it." She stared at me, breathing heavy, her mascara streaking down her cheeks. "So what? You're just going to throw away 2 years because of one mistake?" "2 years of lies," I corrected. "Get your things. You have 20 minutes. For a moment, she didn't move. Then she screamed, a sound so sharp it made my skin crawl. She threw her bag against the wall, shouting that I'd ruined her life, that I was heartless, that I'd pushed her into another man's arms. I didn't answer. I just turned on my phone's voice recorder and let it run. Her voice echoed through the apartment, jumping from rage to begging to threats in seconds. "If you make me leave, I swear I'll do something to myself this time," she cried, her voice cracking. I kept my tone level. "You should call your mother, Rachel. Or David. Maybe they can help." The fury came back instantly. "You'll regret this, Mark. You'll see. No one treats me like this." She stormed into the bedroom, yanked clothes from drawers, threw shoes into bags. 10 minutes later, she was standing by the door, tears gone, face blank. "David's coming to get me," she said flatly. "Good," I replied. When his black SUV pulled up, I watched from the window. She climbed in, crying on his shoulder. He kissed her forehead. By the time they reached the end of the street, she was laughing again. That night, I barely slept. My phone buzzed at 8 a.m. the next morning. Her mother, Linda. Her voice trembled with anger. "Mark, what did you do to Rachel? She told me you kicked her out for no reason, that you were controlling and cruel. She's scared of you." I listened silently until she paused to breathe. Then I said, "Linda, I'm going to send you something. Please watch it before you call back." I sent her the screenshots of Rachel's messages, the video of her at the spa, and the audio from last night. It took 20 minutes before she called back, crying this time. "I had no idea," she said softly. "She's been off lately. We thought it was stress." "She needs help," I said, and I meant it. But I was done being the one to give it. That afternoon, Rachel switched tactics. She posted on social media, "Healing from toxicity. Learning to love myself again." Her friends flooded the comments with hearts and encouragements. A few mutual acquaintances texted me privately. "What happened? Are you okay?" I sent them the receipts. Truth travels slower than gossip, but once it catches up, it burns cleaner. Within a week, the story flipped. The lies cracked. People stopped believing her version. Then I got a message from an unknown number. "Hey man, sorry to bother you. My name's Chris. Did you date Rachel Miller?" My stomach dropped. "Yeah," I typed back. "Why?" He sent a screenshot. A message from Rachel 8 months earlier. "I'm in the hospital. I took too many pills. Please don't hate me." The exact same words she'd sent me. She did it to you too? I wrote. Yeah, he replied. She wasn't at the hospital. When I found out, she said it was a panic attack that I misunderstood. I stayed with her for months after that. She cheated the whole time. I left when I finally caught her lying again. I stared at the screen, a strange mix of anger and relief washing through me. It wasn't me. It never had been. This wasn't love gone wrong. It was a pattern, a script she perfected. I called Chris that evening, and we talked for almost an hour. Our stories matched detail for detail, the fake crisis, the guilt, the manipulation, the emotional traps. He told me there'd been another guy between us, too. Same story, same ending. Rachel had a type. Busy men with demanding jobs and soft hearts. The kind of men who'd drop everything at the sound of a distress call. When she didn't have control, she created chaos. When chaos stopped working, she played the victim. Hearing it from someone else made everything click. The endless apologies, the sudden mood swings, the carefully timed tears, they weren't reactions. They were rehearsals. I hung up the phone and sat in silence for a long time, realizing I hadn't been in a relationship. I'd been in a performance, and I was the audience who didn't know the show was scripted. The following weeks passed like I was learning to breathe again. My apartment felt empty at first, but it was the kind of quiet that healed instead of haunted. I changed the locks, blocked Rachel on everything, deleted her number from my phone, but not from my memory. Some nights I'd still wake up expecting a message from her, the old dread rising in my chest before I remembered it was over. I started seeing a therapist. At first I didn't know what to say. I just sat there staring at the wall, trying to explain how a grown man could lose himself without realizing it. My therapist, a calm older woman named Dr. Franklin, listened quietly and then said something that stuck. You were taught to confuse guilt with love. I thought about that for days. She was right. Rachel had trained me. Every silent treatment, every guilt trip, every staged crisis, it was conditioning. I'd been taught to measure love by sacrifice, by how quickly I could drop my own needs to soothe hers. I remembered one night 6 months into our relationship when I went to my nephew's birthday party. Rachel had said she'd be fine, that I should go. 2 hours later, she sent a flood of messages saying I didn't care, that I'd abandoned her. When I came home, she wouldn't speak to me for 3 days. That was the test, my therapist said. The first of many. Every time, she pushed further to see how much I'd been before I broke. And I always bent. Until the day at the spa. About 6 weeks after it all ended, I got an email from her. The subject line was, "I'm sorry." I hesitated before opening it, but curiosity won. It was long, pages of apologies and explanations. She said she was in therapy now, that she'd been diagnosed with abandonment issues, that she finally understood how much pain she'd caused. She said she wasn't asking for another chance, only forgiveness, only to know that I didn't hate her. For a moment, I almost replied, "Old habits die slow." But then I remembered what Chris had said. She'll come back as the reformed version of herself. Don't fall for it. It's just another mask. I deleted the email. 2 days later, she sent another one from a different address. Then a third, each one softer, sadder, more manipulative. I blocked them all. A month later, she showed up at my office building. I saw her through the glass doors before she saw me, hair pulled back, wearing neutral colors, holding a coffee cup like she belonged there. I stepped into the hallway and said, "You need to leave." She smiled faintly, eyes watery. "I just wanted to see you, to tell you I'm really getting help." "That's good," I said, keeping my voice even. "But it's not my job to monitor your progress." Her smile faltered. "So that's it. After everything." "That's exactly it." She stared at me for a long time, then turned and walked away. I watched her go, feeling nothing but relief. I never saw her again after that day. Word got around that she'd started dating someone new, a photographer who traveled a lot. I felt bad for him for a few seconds, then remembered that every adult has to learn their own lessons, just like I did. Life began to settle back into rhythm. I started reconnecting with friends I'd pushed away, taking weekend trips, working out again, learning to enjoy silence without waiting for the next emotional explosion. The anxiety that used to crawl through me every time my phone buzzed started fading. I realized how much space her chaos had taken up in my life. It was like I'd been living in a room filled with noise, and suddenly someone had turned off the speakers. One evening, Dr. Franklin asked me, "What did you learn from all this?" I thought about it for a while before answering. That love isn't supposed to feel like management. It's not supposed to feel like walking through a minefield. She smiled. Exactly. Healthy love is boring sometimes. Peaceful. That's the point. I laughed at that. For years I'd thought calm meant something was missing. Now I craved it. Months later, I got a message on Instagram from a man I didn't know. His name was Eric. He said he'd just started dating Rachel, but something felt off. He'd found my name through mutual connections. He asked if she'd ever fake being sick to get attention. I stared at the message for a long time, then typed back, "Yes. Be careful. She knows how to make you doubt yourself." He thanked me, said he appreciated the warning. That was the last I heard. Maybe he believed me, maybe he didn't. But I'd done my part. I closed my phone and went for a walk, the night air cool and clean. I passed by the hospital where I'd once run in desperate panic and thought about how far I'd come. Back then I believed I was racing to save the woman I loved. Now I knew I'd been saving myself, even if I didn't realize it. There's something strange about losing someone who never really existed. You don't grieve them. You grieve the version of yourself that believed the illusion. The man who ignored every red flag because he thought patience was virtue. The man who thought loyalty could fix what love alone couldn't. That man's gone, and I'm not sorry. I still believe in love, but not the kind that demands you bleed to prove it. Not the kind that uses guilt as a leash. Real love feels steady. It doesn't scream for attention, it earns it quietly. It doesn't punish distance, it trusts connection. I learned that the hard way, but I learned it. And now, when my phone buzzes, I don't flinch. I don't rush to explain myself or apologize for existing. I check the message, smile if it's good, delete it if it's not, and move on. Because the truth is, silence can be louder than any scream. And sometimes, the best revenge is peace. If you've ever walked away from someone who broke you just to see what you do, then you know what I mean. Don't forget to subscribe, hit like, and share your thoughts in the comments. You never know who might need to hear this story tonight.